let's talk about some of the things that can help make your site a lot faster. First off, that initial page load. You want it to be under 2 seconds. The good news is that once someone's been to your website, more than likely they will cache it, and so it will load a lot faster the next time. And so please make sure that as best as possible you have caching enabled so that people can get that cache and not have to wait the second and the third time. You want that caching load time to be under a second if at all possible. You also want pages that are in total size 1, 2, maybe 3 megabytes and not that much larger than that. Now, when you think about a big, large page on your website, it's pretty easy to get over 2 to 3 megabytes quickly. And so it takes some strategy to get it down below that. After you build out lots and lots of content, it's gonna be a lot harder and a lot more painful to try to fix down the road rather than setting yourself up for success now. So what are the things that cause a site to go slow? There's a lot of factors, but let's look at the big ones and the ones that are frankly fairly easy to tackle. Number one, bad hosting. Sometimes you can never overcome the fact that the hosting servers that are used are just not good. Generally speaking, if you're on a really broadly shared plan, you're gonna be hosted on a server with a lot of other sites. Those are gonna be a little bit slower. They're also gonna be a little bit cheaper. And if you move to a hosting plan or a hosting provider that puts you on a server with less websites or with less people on them, you'll probably move faster. It'll probably be a little bit more expensive. Another area that affects site speed is if you're embedding videos and actually hosting those because videos are so large. Also, the same goes with some GIFs. Those will slow your site down. Plugins. Try looking at your site and determining if you have a bunch of plugins that you're not using. Evaluate the plugins you are using and try to cull the list down and see if you can use less plugins. Rounding out the couple other big ticket items that can affect your site speed, your website theme and the CSS you choose to use in your website. The layout, the presentation, the style classes, the color schemes, and the way that they all interact with each other. This theme can either be really large or relatively small. Choosing a different site theme is a big decision, but you might need to do that if your theme is really old or really, as they call, heavy or large. CSS, if you've ever had some custom work done in your site, sometimes the coder or the developer will build out a lot of CSS on top of that. And it's a scripting that can sometimes, when done, I'll say wrong or not done with speed in mind, can be really heavy. One of the biggest culprits in a slow site is big images. It also comes down to using the wrong type of image. The bigger the image, the higher the res of the image, the longer it is to load, the slower your site is, the worse the experience for the viewer, and the less that Google can rank you for that. It really helps a lot to figure out the width of your site and try to optimize the image size before you export to that width. Typically speaking, I would recommend somewhere between 200 to 250 kilobytes as the largest file size you want to put up on the internet. That's just, again, because of how many images that have to load every single time somebody goes to one of your pages. It might not look perfect. As a matter of fact, it won't at 200 to 250 kilobytes. But what they are getting is the benefit of a significantly faster and better experience, and that's that dichotomy. There's a lot of software out there that can help optimize your image even further. JPEG Mini is a fantastic one that allow you to optimize your image to a smaller file size even after you've optimized it yourself. So just to review, and again, this is a big topic, but site speed is important. So some things that you want to look at are your hosting, your image size, your video size, and any GIFs, things like your plugins, your theme, and your CSS. And try to tackle that site speed and get it down to the numbers that we were talking about earlier. Initial page load of 2 seconds-ish or under, cache load of a second or under, and pages that are 1, 2, 3 megabytes in size or under. And then we'll walk through actually how to look at that stuff here in just a little bit.